Something major just happened in Las Vegas, and the XRP world is paying very close attention. What looked like a normal crypto event quickly turned into one of the biggest XRP moments of the year. Massive statements were made, key updates were shared, and strong signals came directly from Ripple leadership. For long-term XRP holders, this was not just another conference. It felt like a turning point. Welcome to XRP Gold Silver Scope, where we break down the biggest XRP developments in simple and clear English. Today's update is packed with important news because the XRP Las Vegas event delivered several bombshell moments that investors cannot ignore. One of the biggest talking points came from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. He spoke openly about how XRP has often been pushed aside by major organizations, even while other digital assets were given center stage. According to Brad, there were situations where Bitcoin and Ethereum were welcomed, but XRP was left out. That message matters, because it shows many people in the industry still underestimate XRP and what it can become. But instead of complaining, Ripple appears focused on action. Brad's comments carried confidence. Rather than worrying about being excluded, the company seems determined to keep building real-world value. That mindset is important. Markets can ignore something for only so long before results begin to speak louder than opinions. Brad also spoke about the XRP community itself. He referred to supporters as both the XRP family and the XRP army. That says a lot. XRP has one of the strongest communities in crypto, especially after years of legal pressure, uncertainty, and criticism. Many projects disappeared during difficult times, but XRP holders stayed active and loyal. He then reflected on how the regulatory environment is changing. Brad compared past leadership with newer approaches that are now creating clearer rules. His point was simple. If regulators provide structure, businesses can build faster. If they only create fear, progress slows down. That has been one of the biggest problems in crypto for years. This is exactly why the recent developments are so important. XRP has spent years waiting for fair treatment and legal clarity. Many investors believe the project was held back not because of weak technology, but because of confusion and pressure from regulators. If that pressure finally ends, XRP could enter a completely new chapter. Another key highlight from the event was Ripple's confidence in its own future. Brad made it clear that Ripple remains deeply committed to XRP. He reminded everyone that Ripple is still one of the largest holders of XRP and has every reason to help the asset succeed. That directly answers critics who often question Ripple's priorities. He also explained Ripple's mission clearly. The goal is to make XRP the most useful digital asset, the most liquid digital asset, and one of the most trusted digital assets in the market. Those three targets matter more than hype. Usefulness drives adoption. Liquidity attracts institutions. Trust creates long-term growth. This is where many people misunderstand XRP. Some traders only focus on price movement, but Ripple appears focused on infrastructure. While others chase trends, Ripple continues working with financial institutions, payment networks, and enterprise systems. That slower path may not create instant excitement every day, but it can create serious long-term value. The Las Vegas event also showed that Ripple is not slowing down. In fact, momentum appears stronger than ever. New products, new partnerships, and stronger messaging suggest the company believes its best years may still be ahead. For XRP holders, this creates a powerful question. What happens when years of building finally meet years of waiting? Sometimes markets move the most when the public least expects it. If XRP enters a period of legal clarity, institutional trust, and expanding use cases at the same time, the next phase could look very different from the last few years. And this was only the beginning of the news coming out of Las Vegas. The second major moment from XRP Las Vegas came from Ripple CTO David Schwartz, and his message may be one of the most important long-term signals for XRP holders. While many people only focus on short-term price action, David focused on something much bigger, the path to mass adoption. He explained that enterprise adoption today can create retail adoption tomorrow. In simple words, institutions may build the road first, and everyday users may drive on it later. That idea makes a lot of sense. Think about how the internet developed. In the early days, it was mostly used by governments, military systems, universities, and large corporations. Regular people were not using it the way they do now. But once the infrastructure was ready, the internet expanded into homes, businesses, and daily life around the world. David suggested blockchain could follow a similar path. Right now, Ripple is working closely with institutions, payment providers, financial systems, and enterprise-level clients. Many people ask why XRP is not already being used by everyone at the consumer level. The answer may be simple. First build the rails, then open the doors. This is where XRP becomes very interesting. If banks, payment firms, remittance companies, and treasury systems begin using XRP-based infrastructure behind the scenes, then retail users may eventually benefit without even realizing it. Faster payments, cheaper transfers, real-time settlements, and smoother international money movement could all become normal. That is how true adoption often works. People do not always care about the technology name. They care that it works better. David also pointed toward a major issue in today's crypto market. Many decentralized finance systems remain limited because average users still do not have simple real-world tools. Most people are not asking for complex yield strategies. They want useful services like checking accounts, loans, payments, savings tools, and smart investments. That is where regulation and clarity matter. Without clear rules, major companies hesitate to launch consumer products. Banks move slowly. Public firms avoid risk. Governments remain cautious. But when legal definitions become clearer, serious money can move faster. This is why XRP supporters are watching regulations so closely. If Ripple already has the technology and network, then clearer laws may remove one of the final barriers to scale. Many investors miss this point. They assume adoption means millions of people buying XRP on exchanges tomorrow. But adoption can start invisibly. It can begin through back-end systems, enterprise liquidity, treasury management, and cross-border settlement networks. Then later, consumer products can be layered on top. Imagine a future where sending money internationally takes seconds. Business payroll settles instantly. Freelancers receive cross-border payments without delays, and digital wallets connect directly to regulated financial rails. If XRP helps power that environment, the value conversation changes completely. This is why institutional adoption matters so much. Institutions bring volume. They bring trust. They bring long-term contracts. They bring infrastructure spending. And once those systems are built, retail products become easier to launch. Ripple appears to understand this strategy clearly. Instead of chasing headlines every week, they continue targeting serious utility. That may frustrate traders who want instant moves, but it can reward investors who understand long cycles. The Las Vegas event showed that Ripple leadership still believes the biggest growth may come ahead, not behind. Their tone was not defensive. It was forward-looking. That confidence matters. Another important signal is timing. Crypto markets often move before the public fully understands why. If legal clarity improves while institutional systems expand, sentiment can shift quickly. Many people who ignored XRP during uncertain years may suddenly reevaluate it once risk appears lower. That is how narratives change. Yesterday's controversial asset can become tomorrow's strategic digital infrastructure if conditions align. And this leads directly to the biggest update of all. Now we come to the biggest topic from XRP Las Vegas, the Clarity Act. Many people at the event treated this as the final missing piece for the next phase of crypto growth. For XRP holders, this is especially important because regulation has been one of the biggest obstacles for years. According to updates shared during the event, momentum around the Clarity Act is increasing. Reports suggested an important markup stage was expected in the coming weeks, followed by more discussion and voting steps later in the summer. While timelines in politics can always change, the key message was clear: progress is happening. Why does this matter so much? Because markets hate uncertainty. Large banks, pension funds, treasury companies, ETF providers, and institutional investors often avoid sectors where rules are unclear. They may like the technology, but they wait for legal confidence before committing serious capital. That means billions, and potentially trillions, can stay on the sidelines until clear laws exist. If stronger digital asset rules arrive, many institutions could move faster. They may launch products, expand holdings, build services, and integrate blockchain solutions that were delayed for years. XRP is often mentioned in these discussions because of its focus on payments, liquidity, and real-world financial use. This is why many XRP supporters see regulation as a catalyst. Ripple already has global visibility. XRP already has exchange presence. The XRP ledger already exists. Partnerships and enterprise discussions have been ongoing for years. So if legal clarity improves, some investors believe XRP could be in a stronger position than many realize. Brad Garlinghouse also reinforced Ripple's commitment during the event. He made it clear that Ripple wants XRP to become one of the most useful, liquid, and trusted digital assets in the world. That message matters because it shows long-term alignment between Ripple and the XRP ecosystem. Another strong signal came from Ripple's business growth areas, including treasury and institutional services. These are not small side projects. They reflect a company trying to build serious financial infrastructure. And that brings us to the bigger picture. XRP's future may not depend only on hype cycles or retail excitement. It may depend on whether Ripple can continue winning enterprise adoption while regulators provide a clearer path for digital assets. If both happen at the same time, sentiment could shift quickly. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. Laws can be delayed. Markets can stay volatile. Prices can move both ways. That is why smart investors watch facts, not emotions. But one thing is certain. The next few months may be more important for XRP than many realize. Las Vegas was not just another crypto event. It may be remembered as a moment when confidence returned, leadership became louder, and the market started preparing for what comes next. If you want simple XRP updates, deep analysis, and the biggest news explained clearly, subscribe to XRP Gold Silver Scope and stay connected for every major move ahead.